What if I told you that there are people who carry something rare inside them, something that separates them from the crowd, a silent call that few can hear? It may seem like fiction, but the truth is that throughout history, there are those who simply don't fit the common mold. They notice things that others ignore, feel what no one expresses, and walk a lonely road in search of something they can't even explain. But how do you know if you are one of those chosen ones? Is there a way to be sure? The answer is simple and at the same time profound. The chosen ones carry signs, gifts that cannot be learned, but rather awakened. And if you feel like your life has always followed a different path, that you don't fit the mold, then perhaps you've already realized that your journey is special. Today, we're going to talk about the 7 spiritual gifts that only the chosen receive and that prove that you have a higher calling. Now, before we go any further, an essential question: why do the chosen exist? Throughout history, people with expanded perception, with intuitive and spiritual abilities, have always played a fundamental role. From the prophets of ancient civilizations to the great visionaries of our era, these individuals were responsible for changing the way we see the world. Whether through art, science, or spirituality, they were the catalysts for profound transformations. Maybe you've never thought about it, but the fact that you're here, hearing these words, is already an indication that something inside you is awakening. The chosen ones are not born in cradles of gold. In fact, many face a childhood of challenges, a youth of internal conflicts, and a life full of signs that only make sense later. Have you ever felt like you just don't belong in certain environments? That superficial conversations feel empty and that you need something deeper to connect with? This is not a coincidence. The chosen ones are those who feel the energy around them, who perceive the truth behind the words, and who can see through illusions. And most importantly, they are those who were called to transform something, whether in themselves or in the world. Think of figures like Nikola Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci, or Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha. None of them followed the common path. They were rejected, misunderstood, and challenged. But something inside them never let them give up. This is one of the clearest signs of the chosen ones: unwavering persistence, and maybe you're going through exactly that right now. What makes this path even more challenging is that the chosen ones don't always know they are chosen. Some spend years feeling lost, fighting a world that doesn't seem to understand their essence. Others try to fit in, stifling their natural abilities, only to find that this takes them further and further away from their true mission. But here's the truth. If you are hearing this, something inside you recognizes this message, and that's a sign. After all, those who are not ready to awaken often reject this type of information. If you feel this connection, then it is time to understand your gifts. Now that you know this, the question that really matters is, what are these gifts and how do they manifest themselves in your life? In the next few minutes, let's take a deep dive into the 7 unique spiritual gifts of the chosen ones. As we explore each of these, I encourage you to reflect on your own experience and identify which of these signs are already present in your life. Share this knowledge with the world. How many people do you know are still stuck in this cycle and have no idea? Together, we can spread this message and help more people become free. Subscribe to the channel and send this video to anyone who needs to hear this truth. Self-discovery and purpose. Since the beginning of humanity, the search for the meaning of existence has been one of the biggest questions faced by human beings. Ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians and Mayans, dedicated their lives to understanding the role of individuals in the cosmos. At the heart of this journey was a certainty. Some people are born to fulfill special missions. If we look at history, we will see figures who marked eras through their spiritual calling. Buddha, in the 6th century BC, abandoned royalty to find the truth about human suffering. Joan of Arc in the 15th century claimed to have received divine visions that guided her on her mission. Nikola Tesla in the 19th century dedicated his life to bringing innovations that would shape the future of humanity. Each of them had something in common: the certainty that they were destined for something greater. But what about you? Have you ever felt like you don't belong to the standards imposed by society, that your way of seeing the world is different? The truth is that many people go through life without realizing their true potential. This happens because those chosen face challenges from an early age. They often feel out of place, misunderstood, or question the meaning of their own existence. And this feeling is no coincidence. Psychological studies indicate that individuals with high sensitivity and keen perception are more likely to feel different from the collective. This is because your mind operates in a state of greater reflection and awareness. In spiritual traditions around the world, we find the concept of life mission. In Hinduism, this is called dharma, the path each person must follow to align with their essence. In Christianity, we find the idea of divine calling, where God chooses certain people to carry out specific missions. In shamanism, it is believed that some are born with spiritual gifts to guide communities. And in all of these concepts, there is a common point. Those who are chosen often face adversity before understanding their true role. What few people say is that the journey of the chosen one is not always easy. Studies of transpersonal psychology, an approach that connects the mind to spirituality, suggest that individuals who experience profound existential crises are often those who later find greater meaning in their lives. This is known as the dark night of the soul, a period of intense challenge that precedes a spiritual awakening. You may have experienced moments of doubt, loneliness, or even disbelief in your own worth. But it is in these moments that the chosen ones are shaped. Every difficulty is a preparation for something greater. If you are here listening to these words, perhaps something inside you is awakening. You may have felt subtle signs, a strong feeling, intense dreams, inexplicable connections with certain people. These are signs that you have a way to go, and if you haven't found your mission yet, know that you are not alone. Studies show that around 70% of people feel their lives lack true meaning until they find something that deeply motivates them. Self-knowledge is the key to unlocking this understanding. But how do you know what your true purpose is? Reflect on your passions. What moves you? What makes your heart vibrate? Pay attention to the signs. The universe always sends us clues, whether through coincidences, intuition, or unexpected events. Note the challenges you faced. Often, our mission is directly linked to the difficulties we overcome. Follow what brings peace to your spirit. When we are on the right path, we feel an unmistakable feeling of fulfillment. Self-discovery doesn't happen overnight. It is a process, a journey that requires patience and courage. But one thing is certain: those who allow themselves to seek will inevitably find. In the next few minutes, we will explore the spiritual gifts that only the chosen possess. And along this path, you will begin to understand the signs that have always been around you. Your journey is just beginning. It's time to regain your strength and build a new path. Subscribe to the channel and be part of this community that is awakening to the truth, exclusivity, and belonging. Since ancient times, humanity has always sought meaning in existence. Legends, myths, and sacred scriptures report the presence of individuals who stand out among the rest, those who have a special calling. But what exactly sets these people apart? What makes a human being feel truly distinct from others? The answer lies in the feeling of exclusivity. The feeling of being different is not an accident, but rather an indication that you have been chosen for a unique path. Many may live their lives in an ordinary way, following the standards established by society. But those who carry this feeling of belonging to something greater are guided by an invisible force. In several cultures throughout history, this concept of exclusivity has been present. In ancient Egypt, priests were trained from childhood to understand spiritual mysteries that most people would never know. In Celtic tradition, druids were considered guardians of occult knowledge, chosen to guide their community. In feudal Japan, warrior monks believed that their discipline and connection to the spiritual made them different from others. What do all these examples have in common? The recognition that some people play a unique role in the evolution of the world. But at the same time that this feeling of exclusivity brings a strong sense of identity, it can also generate a paradox. The feeling of not belonging anywhere. Have you ever felt like you don't fit into the environments you're in? That superficial interactions feel empty, as if something deeper is missing? This disconnection doesn't mean something is wrong with you. On the contrary, this is a sign that your spirit recognizes that it should not follow the traditional path. The chosen ones are those who, even surrounded by people, often feel that their true essence is not completely understood. But then, what does it mean to belong? If the chosen one feels he is different, will he never find his place? The answer is that a true sense of belonging does not come from acceptance by society, but from understanding your own mission. When you embrace your calling, you begin to attract people who share your vibration. The right tribe naturally forms around you. Psychology studies have already shown that individuals who have a strong sense of purpose tend to find social groups that validate their experience. According to research from Stanford University 2021, people who share similar beliefs and values develop deeper and more lasting bonds. This means that even if you feel alone now, at some point, your energy will attract those who are aligned with your path. Take the example of historical figures like Gandhi. He was rejected and ridiculed for his ideas at first, but his mission attracted millions of followers who shared his ideal for change. The same happened with Malala Yousafzai, who, in fighting for the right to education, found a global community that echoed her voice. This can happen to you too. When you embrace your uniqueness, the world responds, but this takes courage. How to embrace your exclusivity and belonging. Embrace your difference as a strength. The world needs people who think and feel differently. Seek knowledge. The more you learn about your own essence, the more confident you become in your role. Connect with those who share your vision. Even if it seems like you are alone, there are others like you. Find your tribe. Understand that loneliness is part of the process. At times, you will need to walk alone to grow. Listen to your intuition. Your heart knows when you are on the right path. Trust him. The truth is that the chosen ones were never meant to fit in with the ordinary. They exist to break patterns, to challenge norms, and to open paths where there was no road before. When you embrace your identity, you not only find belonging, but you become a source of inspiration for others who are still searching for their own path. In the next few minutes, we'll delve even deeper into the gifts that only the chosen possess and how you can utilize them to fulfill your true destiny. The awakening continues. If this video opened your eyes to truths you had never seen before, imagine what else you can discover. Subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content that can transform your life. Overcoming and growth. No one is born strong. Strength is conquered. Every challenge, every obstacle, every moment of pain is a test that shapes us. The chosen ones are forged in the fire of adversity. They don't have an easy walk, but they have something that sets them apart, the ability to get up whenever they fall. Overcoming is not just resisting difficulties, it's growing with them. You can even try to avoid the pain, but sooner or later, it will come. The difference between those who move forward and those who give up is in the way they face these moments. History is full of examples of people who were tested to the extreme. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison before becoming one of the world's greatest leaders. Helen Keller, even without seeing or hearing, became a writer and speaker. Thomas Edison failed more than 1,000 times before inventing the electric light bulb. What did these people have in common? They did not let difficulties define their destinies. They used each failure as a stepping stone to something greater. And you? What was the worst moment of your life, the one where you felt like everything was against you? Maybe it was the loss of something important, an unexpected betrayal, or a failure that crushed your hopes. But now look back. You are still here. You survived. And that means you are stronger than you know. Challenges are part of the process of spiritual evolution. Without them, there is no growth. Think of a seed. Before becoming a tree, it must face the darkness of the ground, break through the earth and endure storms. If a tree grows without wind, it becomes fragile and breaks easily. It is the strong wind that strengthens your trunk. The same happens with you. Every struggle you face strengthens your backbone, makes you more prepared for what's to come. The chosen ones understand that pain is not a punishment, but a training. Life prepares them for something greater. Those who give up along the way will never discover how far they could have gone. Overcoming is more than resisting. It's learning. It's reinventing yourself. It's falling 10 times and getting up 11 times. Everyone who has come far has had moments when they thought about giving up, but they followed. They understood that nothing great comes without a fight. Now look at your own life. What can you take away from your difficulties? How has each challenge shaped who you are today? The truth is that you are much stronger than you think. And remember, there is no growth without pain, but there is also no victory without overcoming. Challenges are not here to destroy you. They exist to transform you, because the chosen ones are not those who never fall. They are the ones who always stand up. Don't return to the darkness. Fear tried to extinguish you, but now you know that your light is unbreakable. To continue strengthening yourself and never fall into traps like this again, click the subscribe button and activate the bell. Your liberation has begun. Connection with higher forces. Have you ever felt an invisible presence guiding your steps? Have you ever experienced situations that are impossible to explain by logic? The universe is vast, mysterious, and full of forces that go beyond what our eyes can see. Throughout history, chosen individuals have been called to fulfill purposes that transcend their own understandings. Prophets, mystics, visionaries, all related experiences that showed they were not alone. Great civilizations believed in the existence of a connection between the earthly world and the divine. In ancient Egypt, pharaohs were seen as intermediaries between gods and men. In the Greek world, the oracle at Delphi received messages from Apollo. In several religions, there are reports of angels, spiritual guides, and signs sent to those who were ready to listen to them. But what does this mean for you? How does this connection with higher forces manifest in your life? Those chosen often receive messages that cannot be ignored. It could be a dream that seems more real than reality itself. It can be an insistent thought that arises without explanation, but when followed, leads to something extraordinary. It could be an unexpected encounter that completely changes the course of your journey. Many call this intuition, but the truth is that it is more than that. It's a calling. Reports of mystical experiences are common in all cultures. Saint Anthony of Padua said he had visions and dreams that guided him. Chico Xavier claimed to receive spiritual messages that helped him write books. Teresa of Avila described feeling the presence of a heavenly light guiding her path. These experiences are no coincidence. They are part of the path of those who have been called to something greater. But it's not always easy to recognize this connection. In the modern world, we are surrounded by distractions, the noise of routine, internal doubts, fear of judgment from others. All of this can take us away from this force that has always been present. This is why the chosen ones learn to silence the mind. Meditation, prayer, contemplation of nature, all of these practices are doors that open perception to something greater. And there are times when that connection becomes undeniable. An inexplicable rescue from an imminent accident. An answer that appears at the exact moment you need it. A path that reveals itself when all hope seemed to have been exhausted. The chosen ones know that nothing is by chance. The universe communicates in ways that we cannot always understand, but that are impossible to ignore. How to recognize this connection? Pay attention to the signs. Recurring dreams, significant coincidences, and strong intuition are not mere coincidences. Silence your mind. The voice of the divine is subtle. If you are always surrounded by noise, you will never hear it. Be receptive. Many answers have already been given, but you need to be open to seeing them. Trust. Even when it doesn't make sense, follow your calling. He will never lead you down the wrong path. There is something bigger guiding your journey, even when you don't realize it, even when you doubt. The question is, are you ready to listen? Because those who listen are never the same again. The answer you were looking for is here. If this video made sense to you, don't stop here. There is so much more to learn and grow. Click sign up now and discover the next step towards your transformation. Now that you've come this far, one truth becomes undeniable. The path of the chosen is not for everyone. Not everyone is ready to understand the grandeur of what it means to carry special gifts. You noticed the signs. He recognized challenges that were not mere coincidences, but tests to shape his essence. He understood that difficulties are not punishments, but steps that prepare his soul for something greater. It's not just about having different skills. Being a chosen one means carrying a responsibility that few are willing to accept. History shows us that those who changed the world never took the easy way out. They faced opposition, were discredited, and tested repeatedly, but they never backed down. The truth is that there are no shortcuts for those who have been called to something great. Spiritual growth requires courage, because once you awaken, there is no going back. The gifts you carry were given to you for a reason. They are not to be wasted nor hidden. The world needs your presence, your voice, and your light. But the choice will always be yours. You can ignore this call and try to live like everyone else, pretending you never heard this message. Or you can accept it and embrace your true essence, knowing that being a chosen one does not mean an easy life, but rather a meaningful journey. If you felt something different within you while listening to this message, if some part of your soul recognized this truth, then you already know your answer. The question now is, what will you do with this knowledge? Time doesn't wait. The universe is moving, and your journey is just beginning. It's time to regain your strength and build a new path. Subscribe to the channel and be part of this community that is awakening to the truth.